All right, welcome back. We are in the midst of finishing off the control panel. I had to leave for a while because I had to cut the wood. I tried cutting the wood at Home Depot, and it was a beautiful fail. I cut it, but didn't cut it enough. So I brought it back home. I put my son to bed, and then I was like, I really want to get this done. And then I thought, I don't have anything to cut with. I thought, well, wait a second. I have a drill. So I just used a drill to trim off these side pieces of wood, and I've got it trimmed so that it's not interfering with the volcano button. I've got it trimmed so that the mounting bolt will attach to the cabinet, and I had to move the leaf switches because the switches for the buttons were on different angles with the wood because there was more wood to play with. So I actually had to relocate where the switches go. So I'm just going to now reinstall the last two leaf switches, and then we'll do a full test. We've got these little spacers here that sit on top of the wood to give the switches the right depth of throw. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put the last two switches on, and we should be able to test this, and then once it's all tested we can actually bolt it back up. And I've actually got the cardboard bezel out of here. I'm noticing that the screen, you can't really see it from this angle, but there's a bit of burn-in on this screen, so I want to adjust it so the burn is kind of lined up with where it was before. Otherwise, I don't know. You don't really notice the burn-in when it's dark, but you can actually see it says two fichas, one juego, so it's like 2 coins for 1 play. Because this thing was set to Spanish at some point, I guess, because there's different language settings with the dip switches. So you can see burn-in on the high scores, because usually the high scores are what's on the screen all the time. And I can see right now that the high scores that are burnt in, my high scores are a little bit to the right of what used to be there. I like to maximize the screen size, but then there's also standards, and I've got the high score at the top of the screen is a little too high, so it kind of, you want to be careful it's not hiding under the cardboard bezel. So we're just going to wrap up these last two leaf switches here, and then we will be ready to do a lovely little test. So just going to carefully put these spacers on here, and then we will gently put that back together. Okay, we'll get the other one here. Just about there. Okay, and got one more left, and then we can do a full test. I think we're doing okay. We might need to adjust the throw a little bit because you don't want things moving all the time. These switches can be sensitive, so. Oops. All right, one more leaf switch, and then we can actually put this thing kind of back together here. Little bits of wood inside here, and we just have to figure out how the retaining bolts hold this whole control panel to the entire cabinet. So let me just go ahead and get this started. Last switch, and then we can do our test, which is good. So I think we're close. Okay, I think we are all right, folks. Looks like we have the leaf switches are all connected. So the only thing we have to worry about is making sure this wire doesn't get pinched when it's closing on the side here. This cabinet needs a good cleaning. It's coming up to 2 years since I got this cabinet, and we've done a few mods to it. We replaced the big blue capacitors. We put the multi-asteroids on it. I actually recapped the PCB board myself. That was cool. I didn't blow anything up. And okay, so we're going to close this up now, and we will see what happens. I wonder if there's a way to... we'll maybe worry about cleaning up the wiring later. We could actually just put a staple in the top here where this is. It's going to keep this out of the way. I had a staple here. It's hard to put a staple back in after the fact, but I'll worry about that later. Okay, so we're closing up the multi-control panel and just see how this kind of sits here. Yeah, we'll make sure that the wiring doesn't get eaten by the side frame there. Okay, so that's looking good. So the only thing we have to do is put the retaining bolts in here to hold that down. And yeah, so let's go ahead and figure that out. Maybe we should test the switches before we put all this away. All right, we're going to do a test of all the buttons, make sure they're working. So we'll do a one-player start here. Okay, well, the fire button's a little funky, so I think I'd have to just loosen up the throw on the fire button a bit. Hyperspace is working. So anyways, you guys probably can't see the gameplay right now, but I think the fire button is the one that has the stretched wire on it. That might be why. Got the high score saves kit in here, so you can. I'll do another video later where you can actually see the playing. Oh, it feels pretty good. Check out, I'll just rotate this so you can actually see the game now. Let me turn some lights off here because it's really hard to see. Oh, we got to tighten up this switch, that's why. This switch is not completely secured. That might be why we're having difficulty. There we go. Okay, let me turn the lights off so we can see this better. All right, let's try this again. High score is 54,000, but I think when I was at the Canadian arcade with Chance, I think I got 65,000 on his cocktail. He was not happy about that, but it's one of my favorite games. Check the shields. Yep, it's working. Oops. If you keep shooting these triangular things, you get a lot of extra bonus points, so it's best to kind of keep them hanging around if you can and rack up a lot of points with them. Okay, well, we've got, I think since we tightened up that one switch, we're good. Everything is pretty responsive. I like this. Oops. All right, anyway, this is looking good. I'm happy with the controls. We've got all of our buttons, and I guess we should test Lunar Lander as well. So let's do that now. All right, lunar lander is operational. Oh, we do not have any thrust. Why is that? Okay, that's weird. Well, this is disappointing. Why is this not working? Huh. Let's go into the test mode here and see what happens. Thrust mode, external digital. Well, let's try. Okay, it's reading the thrust, so that's a good thing. We should have let's go to test mode and see if we can get this running here. There we go. Okay, we got our thruster back now, so that's cool. Thought I had broken something. All right, cool. So we have thruster is working and all of our buttons are working, we can put this back together now. So that is a good thing. So yeah, we'll do another gameplay stream in just a second here, but I just wanted to get the new control panel finished with the wood trimming and relocation of the leaf switches. Looks like we're in good shape, so I'm feeling good about this. So we'll come back to you in a bit.